And we're live. Oh, hold on. Need to close out this. Hello, What's up, everyone? This is the Devil Drives Lada podcast. Today we have 5 people with us, and we're talking about Ukraine again. Whoa, panic. I don't have notes. Today we're going to be doing a quick recap on what it was like the first few weeks of training Ukrainians. Then we're going to get into the last part of training, instructing alongside actual Ukrainian special forces, and being near Chernobyl. And definitely not getting hit by radioactive smoke. Great experiences. After that, we may or may not go into current events this week. And yeah, hopefully we'll have some fun this week. And because we were off 2 weeks in a row, so this is our first one in a while. So we're kind of excited. Last week we all kind of were talking about how we missed it, and Mondays didn't feel like Mondays because we didn't podcast. So yeah, I'm your host, Jamie. I spent 8.5 months in Ukraine. About 6 of those were in a combat role. I own Ohana Arms. I teach people to shoot. I play airsoft. Just do a little bit of everything. And yeah, that's me. Who's next?
I guess I am. What's up? I'm Sean. I've known Jamie for... Jamie, how long have I known you?
A long time. I don't know.
Quite a few years.
5
probably
years.
Yeah, we'll say 5 years. Oh no, it's been more than that. It's been as long as I've been enlisted. So
well, how am I supposed to know how long that is?
It's been at least about like 7 years.
It's been a while.
Anyways, what up? I'm Sean. I've known Jamie for about 7 years. I am in the South Carolina Army National Guard. I'm a 12 Bravo Combat Engineer. Deployed to Kuwait and Syria in 2019 in support of Operation Inherent Resolve. Got to do a little bit of route clearance, not a whole lot. And I'm on the civilian side, I'm a used car salesman. So I'm also a connoisseur of Eastern Bloc history and aesthetics in militaria. So yeah. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Who's next?
All right, I'll be next. Sean, I just want to say you did a great job. Just want to let you know that you're doing great out there. You're doing great, buddy.
Thanks, appreciate it, bud.
All right, so my name's Traven. I am the diversity hire / diversity manager. I'm here to make sure that these individuals just don't get too far out of line. I'm looking at you, Blake. Anyway, so yeah, I'm the resident poor. I'd like to test out all the
poor is a mindset, and you are one.
Stop. Look, don't let them ruin you. Don't let them ruin you guys. You can ball out on a budget. You don't have to be a walking loot drop. And they told me I couldn't say this in the beginning, but I'm gonna say it anyway. PSA is not poverty tier. It is mid tier now. Suck it. All right, next.
Cut. That's it.
Oh wait. An AR-500 does make great plate carriers.
Hold up. Hold on.
None of that is actual advice. Please don't follow it.
It's my turn now. It's my turn now.
All right, go.
Everything that man said is a lie.
The YC9 is a great handgun. I know. I got my hands on one. It feels like a brick, but they fixed the jamming problems. They brought it down to 25%.
All right, it's not your turn to talk anymore. Shut up.
Why are you treating me this way?
Shut up, Ian has the talking stick.
Yeah, I have the stick. I have the talking stick. What's up, guys? I'm Ian. I run a gear company called Operator Supply. We do uniform mods and Halo patches and fun stuff like that. I'm just here to bullshit with my friends, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sam.
All right. I am Blake. I'm one of Jamie's best friends, coworker. Professionally, I am a European mechanic, and guns and gear are a hobby for me. So I'm.
You don't sound very European.
That's because I'm not.
Hey Blake, I just want to say you had a sexy ass mustache, and I gotta ask you a question, buddy. Like, where'd you get that dope ass flag that kind of looks like this one, or that OG one that looks like Jamie's in the background? I want to get more of those. Where do we get those from?
ohanarms.com.
You don't say.
Don't we have a link for that in the description?
Sure. And we'll also have links for Opera 808 supply patches.
Hell yeah. And link to my car salesman Facebook page.
Dude, I'll 100%. I'll put it in.
Yeah, if you want a hot boy sequoia, there we go.
Oh god.
What have you done?
I'm
I'm sure that's
I'm not
gonna
going to
end
affiliate
positively.
this with my anything I do for work. So.
I'd
Bad
also
idea.
just like to say, hearing y'all talk in the introductions is, I feel like that's what it's gonna be when my funeral. It's be like, ah, yes, I'm one of Jamie's best friends. I've known him for 7 years. I'm just here so I don't get fined, and you know, I like guns and gear.
Thinking of more go like, man, Jamie was such a good friend. I knew him before he grew those pubes on his face. I mean, I think this is all our funeral, because when we step out of here, the boys in the black vans are probably going to get all of us, since they have us in one location finally.
Yeah, this is like when the group chat gets leaked, except it's live.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and drop
The
that
leak
live
is
leak.
happening
Corner.
right
They
now.
found the group chat.
All right. So I guess we'll just kind of kick right into our main topic. So for the past 6 episodes, well, I mean, the 5 prior episodes, we've been talking about Ukraine, going over there, what it's like, and then the past, I think this will be the 3rd and final episode of basically what it's like in training Ukrainian soldiers. So last week we talked about, let's see, hold on. We talked about like shooting the factory. We showed some pictures, CQB tactics, training in a minefield, things like that. This week, we're going to be focusing on, like I said, the 3rd and last episode of training Ukrainians, and we're going to be talking about when we train with some Ukrainian special forces, some actual Ukrainian special forces, not like the ones we trained with in the active minefield, and then how Chernobyl caught on fire and we were breathing radioactive smoke. So yeah. Well, let me pull up some pictures here. Gotta scroll through these for a minute. Somebody say something. I hate awkward silence.
Something.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm the one making the awkward silence.
Anybody eating that?
Say again.
I was gonna say, has anyone eaten at Buffalo Wild Wings lately?
No, has it gotten bad?
No, we don't
I
have
really
those
like
here.
When has it
B-dubs.
ever been good? When has Buffalo Wild Wings ever been good?
I mean,
Be honest
I'm not a
with
big wings guy. But with that said, flats are
What do you mean
not
by
where it's
that?
at.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, flats are awful.
do you mean by
like, that's a
that?
hot take.
This is the kind of guy that probably eats chicken wings with blue cheese.
Ew. No, blue cheese is gross. Oh, no.
I was gonna say, you almost went 3 for 3 there, sir.
Alright, so we'll get into some pictures. I actually, this thing is, this specific event was not in my notes, but, we'll throw it up on screen. Can you guys see that? Need to make it where everyone can see. All right, everyone should be able to see that now, right? I know the
Watch
viewers
the
can.
stream. Yep.
Okay, sweet. So, this is basically like a quarry, like a sand quarry. Is that technically what you'd call it? Like a quarry? They harvest
know.
sand, or did for
Well-
many years, and well, when the war started, they turned it into a shooting range. So we went out here and just did a whole bunch of shooting. Made sure the guys, I mean, basically the same thing we did at the factory. Like, it wasn't anything crazy. Just continue to like double down teaching them how to shoot, and did some bounding drills out here. It was honestly kind of funny and sad how good some of them were, and also how bad some of them were. Like, there were instances of dude just not being able to hit a silhouette at 100 meters, like, at all. You're like, oh man.
Oh,
And then there were
Oh,
other
no.
guys just drilling
buddy.
holes. So yeah, but it was a cool experience. Just, I mean, a giant, giant pit. I didn't miss the opportunity to take some selfies, of course. So now we're gonna cut right to training with actual Ukrainian special forces. So why is this opening in a new window? So there's a hole in the ground. Oh no. So somebody almost stepped in it, so they put a stick over the hole. And I was like, yeah, that's helpful. So I guess I took a picture of that. Thought it was funny. So they took us to this village. The best way I could try to like describe this is almost like a Ukrainian nuke town, like the Call of Duty map nuke town. So
Yeah.
it's like an entire simulated village in this like compound, and I don't think it was originally built for training. Like, it was actually, I think, like a small university or like a little school complex or whatever. But they had like apartments, there were school building, like classroom buildings. I mean, like, the best way I could describe it is like it's an entire little village in a compound outside of Kyiv. I really don't know its original purpose or what, or even what it is now. But so they took us here, and we were with all of our Ukrainian unit. There were probably, I think we took about 50 of us there. Maybe not quite that much. It was probably about 30 of the guys from our unit that wanted to go. And then we met up with another unit there that was easily 100 people. Easy. And
damn.
it was their commander. And our commander was there. Of course, us instructors. And then there was also some like old school Ukrainian special forces guys that I use this term, like, I don't want to be insulting, but realistically it was kind of let me get these pictures off of here. A lot of what you'll find in Ukraine is they don't adapt in like warfare. Russia's struggling with the same thing. Like, a lot of what these guys do or know is, or at least the ones that have been doing it for a while, are like USSR tactics. Like, realistically, that's what they were taught in many cases, and that's what these commanders know. You rarely find a commander that has like combat experience, or just, you know, is a, I don't want to say a good commander, but like an experienced commander that has adapted to modern warfare. Pun not intended that this is like a Nuketown environment. So these guys that were there, they're like old school Ukrainian special forces guys from my understanding. Like, they were older, probably in their 40s or older. And these guys were hardcore door kickers, like huge dudes. Guy had like a bit of a bearded, like braided white beard. I'm sure had seen combat in some, you know, in some form around the world. He gave off some very interesting vibes, and from what was explained by my translators, like, this guy knew his stuff and had been working for years. And he was awesome. He was like, okay, you know, you guys know your, you know, from what I'm told, you guys know your stuff. he was like, I want to, he's like, I'll be teaching alongside you guys. And what we learned was this guy had very similar, like, maybe not training, but very similar tactics in the style to, like, modern Western CQB and just training in general. And it was super impressive. And it was a really unique situation because we had not trained alongside anyone at that point that knew Western tactics. Like, you know, occasionally someone would come along and be like, hey, I want to help you guys train, or I want to help you guys do this. And it was just really old garbage tactics. And much less someone that spoke Ukrainian. And so this was just a really cool experience of, you know, we were doing like rotation style on different sections. Almost like you're going back in, like, you know, high school or middle school or whatever. You like go to set up stations and you rotate around them. So we set up that way just because we had so many people. Like they had originally asked us like how many people we were comfortable training. And we were like, you know, I think we had 5 of us instructors at that time. We're like, we could handle, you know, 30, 35 for a day. And they showed up with well over 100 people. We were like, cool. Welcome to Ukraine. That's how it works. And we basically got there and they were like, is this too many? Y'all can handle this, right? And we were like, well, I mean, I guess so. But once we
have to.
Yeah, like, I mean, how many hours or days do we have? You know. And some of these in the other unit had no training at all. Like, they didn't even know basically like basic infantry like bounding drills. So we spent the first couple hours. We got our guys that we had been training to help out. Our translator was there and several other guys that we'd been working with for, you know, a month and a half or 2 months at this point. And I guess it was about a month and a half. And so, you know, they would help us out, check their stances, things like that. And then we started working on some quick bounding, and then we got into CQB. And from my understanding, because this unit was going to be more of a urban-oriented unit, and so we're like, well, let's hit CQB, and which is why they brought us here. So back to the photos. Like I said, it's kind of like a mini Nuketown map, and we had stations set up. The buildings, I should have like drawn them before, because I don't know if my pictures are going to be good enough. Oh, I literally only have like 10 pictures of these buildings. I have more somewhere. I might be able to find them in a later date and pull them up. But these buildings were essentially U-shaped. So you walk in the front door, and there's a lobby area, and there's a set of stairs right in front of you. And, well, first of all, you look at the building from the outside. We'll back up a little bit. There's a front, like, patio, a concrete patio, and then there's a balcony up top. There's probably, like, 50 windows around the entire building. And so we taught them how to, like, approach the building. And then once you walk into, like, the front door, there's this, like, it's quite literally a lobby. And there's a staircase going up to go to the second floor. And the building's U-shaped with hallway. The hallways are U-shaped. So if you go left, you know, you can clear down one hallway. And then there's also a hallway on the other side. And then there's, like, little rooms in the middle. These are the buildings here. Those are literally the only 3 pictures I have with me at the moment. I don't know where the rest are. Oh, wait. Here. So here's the staircase. This is taken from the lobby area, looking up the staircase. So on that top door goes down, you know, the right hallway on the upstairs, and, well, the bottom door goes down the right hallway on the bottom floor. And there's intersecting hallways between the 2 main hallways, or intersecting rooms. So, like, what we taught them was to essentially, you know, you come up to the building, you try to avoid the windows, you know, you got to be looking up top. We would have, like, our Op 4, which is really just, you know, 1 or 2 volunteers trying to bounce around all the windows, or bounce around rooms to, you know, give the impression that there's more people. But, you know, you got to try and stay covered, get up to the building close, push in, and then what we essentially taught was, you know, you hold the front door, and then somebody holds the stairs, and then while two teams at the same time push down the two side halls, because the hallways are running parallel, and so if you push down them at the same time, it ensures that, you know, there's no crossfire per se of confusion of who's in what hallway, whatever. But the Ukrainian guys that were with us, the Special Forces guys, were completely on board. They were awesome. They were literally running behind it, and it's because we're volunteers. We can't just say, you know, hey man, you're doing this wrong, fix it. I mean, yeah, you can, but we don't necessarily. We're not their commanders, and if they don't want to do what we're saying, we have no, like, it's not our job to say, hey, you know, you have to do it this way. We can try and instill in them why they should be doing it that way, but ultimately it's not necessarily our call. So, the commander's sitting there just, like, kicking dudes, like, I mean, it was like being in basic or whatever. He's just, like, screaming down their throats, telling them what they're doing wrong, to fix it, to listen to us. If we're having trouble explaining stuff, or our translators are having trouble translating it, he spoke enough English, or understood enough English. He didn't actually speak any. But he understood enough he'd kind of nod his head, and then just, like, start yelling down their throats. And they're, like, you know, responding, nodding their heads, and they're like, okay, and then they do it again, and it was perfect. So it was really cool training alongside them. Here's another angle. So here's the front door. Yeah. Go through a couple more pictures of it. So literally this was lived in at one point. We also got some foreign rations.
Are you guys seeing the pictures that he's showing?
Oh, are y'all not?
Not on our side anymore.
My bad.
No.
I forgot to start this share again.
Whew.
There you go. There's the building. There's the lobby, the upstairs balcony and lobby, stairway, side halls. Let's see. These were lived in at some point, like I said. I don't really know their original purpose. I don't remember what language this is. I think we did actually translate. Obviously, it's some form of, or some European language. Swedish, or I don't think it's German. I'm not sure. But these MREs were donated, and we were out in the middle of God knows where, so we're munching on these. These are all just different pates. They were horrible.
Macaroni and tomato sounds terrible.
Brussels, farmhouse pate, pork meat, pork liver, water, pork fat, egg, salt, rehydrated onions, starch, spices, herbs, peas, protein, like this. Yep, I got lots of pictures. I thought it was super cool. Never had anything other than US, and at this point maybe one or two Ukrainian MREs, and then a Russian MRE that we'd captured. Yep. All right. That's all the pictures I have of that. But it was a super cool experience. We were there literally all day from early morning to the end of the day, and by the time we were done, we could literally just stand there and observe, and they were doing every drill, everything we'd practiced all day completely autonomously, and it was really cool. We were able to take some of these with the help of the Ukrainian SF guys and the rest of my team, and then our Ukrainians that we had been training. Between kind of all of our powers combined, we were able to get people that had never, you know, gone through, like, position or stances all the way up to, you know, completing bounding drills, formations, how to hold the rifle, and, you know, how it works, to running through CQB on a kind of a very unique and can be a challenging building if you don't know how to do it, all completely autonomously at that point. So, cool experience. So after we finished that was one of our last kind of things we did with our guys for a little while, because Do I have any grayed out? Yeah, because there's Elon, and then two other buddies. They had our unit was leaving. They were deploying towards Belarus, so that was the last time we'd be training with them for a couple weeks. It was pretty hard telling them bye. They didn't know exactly what they were getting into, or they knew they would be a mortar team, but they didn't know exactly where they were going in that time. So yeah. So for the after they left, we kind of just hung out with the unit was split. So essentially that TDF unit, like we talked about in past episodes, TDF is like there is a Ukrainian National Guard, but TDF would be like an even more localized National Guard, because they're locked to certain oblasts like Kyiv Oblast or whatever. And so since there was no current fighting in Kyiv, they were tearing down or kind of splitting apart the Kyiv TDF units and filtering them into special forces units if they had prior combat experience, or sending them to other TDF units across the country that were seeing action, just things like that. And so apparently, essentially the unit got split in half, and half of them would end up going to the Belarus border north of Kyiv. So, and the other half would be stationary in Kyiv temporarily. So, since we weren't technically on paper assigned to the unit, we hung out in Kyiv for, I don't know, a few days, probably 4 or 5 days. Continued to train the ones that were there. Just more advanced stuff, continually getting more and more advanced as much as we could do. And we went to the, I believe it's the Holocaust Park in Kyiv. It's gorgeous. There's a lot of walking trails. There's big monuments. And they have, like, these little campsites. Like, essentially, you can just go and, like, sit down at a picnic table. They have, like, grills, or, you can build a fire and cook stuff. Super cool. We did that. Got lost in this massive park. Yeah, if you don't know the history of, like, I know we talked about it a few weeks ago, and like the history and kind of background of Ukraine, but they've suffered a lot from everything from the Holocaust to Stalin and the Great Famine and things like that. And they have different like parks and memorials dedicated to that. So we did that for a week, and then basically we got a text from one of the guys, or well, several of them. They were like, "Hey, do you want to come train us on position?" And we were like, "Well, I mean, I guess, how would we get there?" And they're like, "Well, we're just gonna come pick you up if you want to go." And we're like, "Well, okay, like, so have your bags ready, and we'll come pick you up in a few days." And so they didn't have great cell service or whatever. Starlink, there was like one Starlink in the entire village. And well, one morning they're like, "Hey," or one day they're like, "Hey, we're picking you up tomorrow morning, be ready." And, well, they show up to the house we were staying at, and they're like, "Here's the van, get in." They're like, and this van's already full. Like, this van was full of supplies that they were taking back. And then here I am with, my big Pelican case and a couple bags. Like, all of us have at least 3 or 4 bags at this point. And it's everything we owned in Ukraine. And they're like, "Get in." We're like, "Dude, you sent, like, a 2-door sedan and a van already full." So we spend, like, an hour, like, repacking this van. And we'd managed to all fit in, and we're, like, laying on top of the luggage, like, falling out, like, 2 people to a seat. Like, I think one of the guys was laying, like, we ended up sitting down, like, on our luggage in the back, and then, like sitting down like this, and then another guy was laying on top of us. It was crazy. And, well, we started just driving. We started driving towards, the Belarus border. We left Kyiv. Find some pictures of that here. Here's my Pelican case. Once we got to a centralized meeting location, they had a truck
to
waiting
start
for
the
us.
stream again.
Oh, gosh, dang it!
Get your life together, Jamie.
Yeah. Okay. Share
Oh, easy on
screen
them, guys.
2. So they had one of the guys in the unit that they were going to. They'd kind of befriended, and he had like a Ram Rebel, like a brand new one that he'd imported, which, they're expensive here in the States. They're even more expensive there in Ukraine. It was like a TRX or a Rebel. It was a sick truck, but he offered to drive down to help us bring our gear up, so he met us there. And then we took off driving. Here's one of the camo nets that people had been volunteers, civilians had been building, and that's what we covered our cars with. And we get there, and this is, I forget exactly how far. I think it was like 30 kilometers, 40 kilometers off the Belarus border, and like 20 kilometers from Chernobyl. It was not far at all. This is me building a bench. So we moved into this house that was unfinished. It was a village that I guess someone had bought this property and was trying to move into the house, or was building this house, and then the war started, and they left, and, well, they needed people in this village, so everyone just grabbed a house. That's realistically how it works over there. It's honestly pretty sad. I don't necessarily want to get into the moral side of it, because, you know, you're essentially quartering or taking your own house in the war. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the coming weeks when we talk about when we were actually frontline fighters and stuff, and how that kind of affected things. Here's my little corner. I guess I was sawing the boards for my bed. Yeah, brought some food and stuff, some energy drinks. It's crazy what people on the front line would do for energy drinks, because you can't get them. Like, trading grenades or ammo for energy drinks. It's ridiculous.
So Tarkov's accurate.
Oh, literally, dude. I remember we were in Kyiv, and one of our buddies that we were with, he took a trip to, similar to how I went to Sumy. He went to another frontline location to deliver some supplies and stuff, and he had some energy drinks that were just his for the trip or whatever. And one of the soldiers was like, "Oh, I'll give you 2 grenades for your energy drink, or for your Pepsi or whatever it was." And he was like, "Sure." And the soldier literally just handed him grenades, and like he handed him the energy drink and walked off.
Jesus.
Like, you get to a point where, you know,
bro, the market value of 2 grenades versus a Pepsi, bro.
Like,
I mean, I can understand if it was Coke.
Well, like, at this point, we'll also know that Pepsi has a much more dominant, like, market than Coke in Ukraine, dating back to when, what was I saying? The Russian...
They also used to have a bigger navy than Ukraine.
That's true. Yeah, Pepsi for a little while had one of the largest navies in the world, and that's still to this day why Pepsi...
things, that's not just the Ukraine, that's most of the Eastern Bloc.
Yeah, I mean, Pepsi literally had one of the biggest navies in the world, thanks to Russia, the USSR. They
were trading ships for the Pepsi, right? Yeah.
Yeah, there was, I forget the exact story, but it was due to, you know, U.S. sanctions or whatever. They couldn't pay in dollar. I don't remember the exact situation, but they were like, "Well, we have an entire navy that we were going to scrap. Do you guys want that?" Pepsi was like, "Sure." So they had the largest standing navy for a little while. So yeah, all that to say, you take energy drinks everywhere you go in a war zone. Same thing with cigarettes, like anything addictive or that tastes good. So yeah, this is my home for a few weeks. I built myself a little table. I don't even know what this is that I'm eating.
It looks like instant mashed potatoes.
That honestly may have very well been what it was. Yeah, cook stove and propane was awesome. Got my MTB Ultimas. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. Yeah, literally this village was like a farm village. They were just like random farm animals that would like walk past you. There was a baby cow that kept coming up to us. Mama would not get very happy, but the cows literally follow us around. So we get there, and we're like, "Hey, so where do we, like, what happens if we get attacked? Because, I mean, at this point, if Belarus would attack, like, we're in artillery range, like, already. They could literally fire grads from their border into our area. So we're like, what happens if we get hit by artillery? And they're like, you go run into the woods and hide. Well, Elon, who was, on our podcast a few weeks ago, decided to dig a hole. And at first it was kind of a joke. He'd just kind of dig in our free time or whatever. And then it turned into this entire bunker, like with a roof that we could fit like 6 people inside. And
saying you guys brought Trench 44 back into Ukraine.
Oh yeah, this hole was huge. I'm trying to see if I have any pictures of it when it was like complete. But like it had stairs and a roof, and you could walk all the way down inside it. And like we took our Monopoly game down there one night and just like sat in there. Just for the memes. Like we got some pictures and just played like Monopoly or cards or something.
You guys were just in the middle of a farm town and did like what those you remember those two indigenous people? I don't know what they were. I don't want to start saying like they're Philippine or anything like that. But they'd be out there, they go out and they would dig these big ass trenches and make these I'm not gonna call them mud forts, but they were like elaborate mud-based buildings and dwellings.
Pacific Islander.
Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, you're the diversity manager. I expect more out of you.
I'm tired. Okay, but I'm saying like I'm pretty sure you've seen these videos. Like they had moats, pools, waterfalls, and shit like that. Were you guys on that level of boredom at that point?
No, we were not. I'm sure given more time we would have had like an entire underground city built, but we did not reach that point.
So Mo people confirmed.
So what?
Mo people confirmed.
Yeah. So yeah, after digging the hole, we kind of got busy training. So the guys we were training, they were a mortar team. And so I'm not a mortarman. None of us instructors were in fact mortarmen. And so what we tried to do was go over the basics of go over the basics of just small infantry tactics, because this new unit, our guys were one company of this new unit, so or one, I guess it would probably be a platoon size element, but they were one platoon of like this larger unit, and the whole unit was very similar to like what we had in Kyiv, of some had combat experience, some didn't, some had never held a rifle, so it's almost like starting fresh. But this time, our guys would help us teach. Very similar to the situation where we're at the Ukrainian nuke town. So we started teaching and basic infantry tactics, and then in our free time we would go in more in depth with our guys. Because at this point we weren't in a city anymore. We had, for all intent and purpose, infinite ground to cover. I mean, there wasn't another village within 15 kilometers of us, so I mean it was just free roam of the forest, of the roads, everything. So we were able to set up ambush drills, we were able to set up large platoon size elements of like react to contact and flanking the enemy. And I mean we were able to set up entire situations where like, hey, you're getting shot at from 100 meters that way or 200 meters, whatever, you can't see them. What do you do? And, we were able to set up entire scenarios for them with maps. We had, like, map printout. Or did we? I don't know if we ever got them printed out. We were drawing maps for them, and then we had sat imagery. We were showing them on our tablets and phones and stuff. And so we were able to kind of do entire scenarios for them that we were never able to do in Kyiv just because of space constraints. Like, we dug defensive positions in Kyiv and, showed them what, like, a defensive harbor looks like. But then when we're like building it, we're like, okay, this isn't exactly the scale. It should be X amount times this big, or whatever. So this gave us the room to kind of play around with it. And what we did is they were a mortar team, and we were like, show us what you do, like show us what you've learned, show us how to run mortars. And we just kind of I think we literally just shadowed them for like a whole day while they did their mortar training. And they're like, okay, so how do we make it better? And we're like, well, we don't know mortars, but we do know how to set up so you can fire them. So we shadowed them and asked them questions on, how long will you be firing for once you get set up? Like, what does the setup process look like? We watched them train setting up the mortar, getting offloading from the vehicles, digging the mortar pit, all that kind of stuff. And then we just tried our best to like take our knowledge and our training and optimize it into theirs. So, we'd be like, okay, so once you offload the vehicle, you need to, set it up like this. You need to have things like, pre-packed and pre-ready to grab. You need to set up like defensive positions around you. Because in some of the cases, they weren't sure if they would be more of like a hit and run mortar team, and they might not necessarily have a front line in front of them. So, we'd have them set up like defensive positions encircling the mortar team, and then, the timing on how to move out, how to sectors of fire, things like that. And it was a bit of a different experience for us because, like I said, none of us know mortars, and we had to adapt to not knowing. We didn't necessarily need to know how to shoot mortars. And we did learn a lot in that time. But we understood the timings and what that team build looked like and what they needed to know. Also, there was this really cool app they had. The commander would have it, and we did learn more about it. We'll talk about it in the future too. But essentially, he'd have like I don't know where mine is. He'd have like a tablet, and it was very similar to ATAC. But this was apparently, according to the commander, developed by the Ukrainians. And it was like an ATAC, almost, it may have even been like the back end of ATAC for all I know. And essentially, the commander, like, it's tracking the commander's location, and all this is being like networked together through all the other mortar teams' tablets. And so he has his tablet, and you could actually see like the front line moving as like Ukrainian intelligence updated it, and like where marked enemy positions were. And essentially what a commander could do is say, hey, fire here. And then like the mortar team commander would also have the tablet, and he'd be able to see where they need to fire, and the tablet would do all of the mortar math for them. So it would show like his current position. He taps on the where they need to fire or where they need to be hitting, and then it tells them like, the bearing the mortar needs to be facing, tells them like what loads to use. So on mortars you have these like donut rings on the back that are the charges. It'll tell you like what charge to use, what angle to use. It does all of the math for you, and you basically just drop the mortar down the tube. It's super cool. Yeah, a little tangent there, but technology's great. If you would have showed them that in like World War II, they would have been mind blown, or any other conflict for that matter. Which I didn't really know those things existed. I use ATAC. I think all of us have in some way used ATAC before, but it was just super cool to see it all integrated, the mortars and drones and everything.
All right, really quick, not to interrupt, but
yes, no, you're good. Interrupt.
I did just see we may have an event to talk about. An F-35 out of Charleston Air Base went down in the water off the coast.
What?
What?
When was this?
For fuck's sake.
This was today.
I missed it?
Yeah, it was apparently, it said, the statement just says the pilot had a mishap and ejected safely.
Pilot hospitalized after ejecting from Marine Corps F-35 during mishap, end quote.
Yeah,
yeah,
what
this
the fuck is up?
The earliest post I see about it was 4 hours ago.
Yeah.
Oh wait, 5 hours ago. Yeah, so this happened very recently. Authorities searching for missing F-35 plane. Dog, China's already going to be in our waters looking for it. Pilot parachute to safe.
Bro, doesn't that thing not have like $3 million worth of GPS trackers in it?
Some astronomically large
Probably already
number.
recovered. They're saying something about it.
A South Carolina military air base, we all know which one that is, has appealed for the public's help in finding a missing Marine Corps fighter aircraft. Its pilot
You've
ejected
seen
from
our
an
multi-billion-dollar plane.
Hello? Have you seen this plane? It's like a poster, like a missing poster. Dang.
No, like a wanted poster. Have you seen this plane?
Let's see. The Marine Corps Air Station at Beaufort is about 35 miles southwest of Charleston, and it's home to several units. Yes. That's crazy. Wait. Now, if you go further down, though, it says Major Andrew Mettler was piloting an FA-18 Hornet when it went down at just before midnight on August 24th. Oh, I guess that's another incident?
Yeah, that was on August 24th, my guy.
Thank you. Yeah, that's crazy.
Just quick maths.
I'm bad at math. Dude, that's crazy. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you find a random F-35 floating in the water,
Return it to.
according
I'm
to
not
the
gonna tell
government,
you to call the
yeah,
authorities.
according to the
You're an
government, you
adult.
should.
Make your own decisions
Yeah.
for yourself.
If you, this is one of those instances where you're like, I found half of an F-35.
Do what your heart tells you to do in that moment.
Your
None
bank
of this is
account, you
legal
mean.
advice. Dude, that's crazy. Okay.
Oh, Lord.
So yeah, we kind of learned mortars. I learned how mortars work at that point. Well,
How do mortars work? Tube.
tube. You drop
Go
tube
boom.
insert down tube.
Drop a big bullet in tube.
One night, also, I know we've talked about this before. Ukrainians see a shooting star and they're like, "Oh my god, it's a drone! Shoot at it!" It just you get paranoid and they shoot at things.
That's
Oh, look at that.
interesting.
On the hood shooting at Transformers.
when When
Mag
I
dump
was
that
in,
trash in the dark.
It's a Decepticon. Get it.
when I was in the sandbox, we'll just generically say the sandbox. And our biggest concern was drones, but also out there the skies are super clear, and like at night you can see so many stars that you can't see like here.
Mm-hmm.
And you count like 10 shooting stars and whatnot. But like that's interesting that they thought that drones were
Oh yeah, like they would see
shooting
anything
or
like
that
moving
shooting
and
stars
flashing,
were
and they're like,
drones.
because it
Those
is
are two
much clearer
very
out there.
different looking things.
Yeah, like it would literally be like anything flashing or bright in the sky, and it's like, it's a drone. Yeah, it's kind of sad, but at the same time, you know, I guess that's one of those things where like you can't be too careful. All that to say, we taught our unit, I would say, well enough to say, hey, just don't shoot at it, just take cover. Like you're not if it's like 2 a.m. and your guard on duty sees a drone and starts shooting at it, you're not doing yourself any favors. Like, now all they just see are, like, muzzle flashes on thermals as people come pouring out of their house to see what's going on and also shoot the drone. You're just telling them how many of you there are. So, but it was a constant thing of, like, guys, stay in your house, there's drones. And we're like, okay, yep, another one. Yeah, I'm sure we're getting attacked. It's not like we even had guns anyway to do anything if we got attacked.
Yeah. When it came to drones, I know, like, at this point, you didn't even have weapons. But at any you were over there, when it came to drones, did you have, like, any form of, like, formal drone?
Yes.
Like, there's, like, a drone defender or something like that?
Yeah, we'll skip ahead a little bit, just go on a tangent real quick. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, did you trail the whole thing here?
Yeah. So, in October of 2022, I did actually shoot down a drone with my rifle. Fun fact.
Yeah.
It was a Russian DJI Mavic 3. And yeah, I have pictures of me holding that and the VSS we captured. And yeah, it's pretty sick. I was very proud of myself. It was literally spotting for a tank that was firing at us. And I got down and laid down on my back with my rifle because I was the only one with magnification and a suppressor. And I shot the drone down. So that was pretty sick, a little tangent. But also, when we captured a tree line, we found a case, a gun case. But it was a gun case. Like, it wasn't a Pelican case. It was, like, one of those, like, $5 briefcase ones you get from the gun show. Like, you know, it has, like, the metal trim. It's got, like, the black, like, scratchy snakeskin-looking junk on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it had a really weird foam cutout. Yeah, the Harbor Freight Special. And the foam cutout was really weird. And then it had this weird, like, charging cable with it. Well, our commander we were trying to figure out exactly what it was, and our commander's like, oh, that's a VSS case. And we're like, my guy, I don't think that's what it is. We're not telling him that it was, whatever. We're like, oh, okay, yeah. And he's like, if you find this gun, he was like, I'd really appreciate, letting me have it or whatever. And we're like, okay. But then the charger because PSO scopes do have chargers, like they're an illuminated reticle. Same thing with the night scopes, like they have chargers and like battery cables, and it wasn't any of those that we were familiar with, so we're like, whatever. Well, we kept kind of inspecting the tree line after we captured it and walking around. Then we bounded back to we took a recon team back to the tree line behind it to walk through it, make sure that we somehow didn't get ourselves surrounded. And, because that was actually, like, it was a weird bound. We bounded oddly. That's all I can say. Well, we came back with a drone gun. And it was what went in that case. I have pictures of it somewhere. And it was literally a Russian drone gun with, like, a Tasco-style scope bolted to the top of it.
Oh, so it wasn't even like a NATO one. It was
No. It was I did some research on it. I was able to pull off enough numbers and just kind of part numbers and whatever off of it, and it was a Chinese drone gun. Fun fact.
That's neat.
So yeah, I have some pictures of it. I'll share them.
To it. Oh, I mean, whatever the fuck that shit is.
Say again.
I said they had a Chinese drone with a Glock strap to it. That's all I can think of when you say drone.
No,
gun. I'm like, oh,
let me see.
Strapped it onto that.
I'll find a picture next week if somebody wants to text me and remind me. But yeah,
did it
was
look anything like the ones that we use?
Bro, it looked like the freaking Halo assault rifle. Like,
so then
almost
probably not.
No, it literally looked like an AliExpress Halo assault rifle that had like a little screen on it, and you could pick like what frequency band you wanted to jam. Because the way that would work is depending on like what band you had it set on or whatever setting, it would essentially just jam the drone to where it couldn't communicate with the satellite, the controller, anything. It would jam GPS. It would jam all like drone frequencies. I'm sure you could bypass it by using, whatever, but it was a very, like, focused beam of jamming. Like, you could literally point it, like, 5 degrees off and it wouldn't do its job. Like, you need to be aiming at the drone. But it would jam just massive, like, frequency windows. And the drone would basically freak out because it would no longer know its height, like its location, where it is relative to the controller, and depending on the model of the drone, DJIs would just land themselves, like exactly where they are. They would just like panic, and just not fall out of the sky. Like when we initially found it, we wouldn't know exactly what would happen, so we started testing our own drones at like low levels, and they would literally just freak out and land themselves. So yeah.
Well, since you've gotten chances, I just realized what you meant by drone gun now that you explained it.
Sorry, that was a poor explanation.
No, you're good. But I got a question. Was it actually effective, or would just your normal break action 20 gauge with blurred shot take it down better?
So that's a good question, and essentially what it boils down to is, yes, it's more effective, but you also have to deal with how fast the drone is going. Can you
Yeah.
see the drone? Essentially, while this did have more range than a shot, like a 20 gauge or 12 gauge with birdshot, you also have to think about, like, the distance you can actually hear a drone from. And you
Yeah.
really can't hear a drone depending on, the drone model, how big it is. Does it have, specialized quiet or
So
stealth
the only thing
propellers?
is, with those quote unquote drone guns, whether it be the Chinese ones or any of the NATO US ones,
Mm-hmm.
they use radio frequencies. It's all RF. So it's using it, you don't have the problems that you get with using a firearm. You have the problems you get when using a radio.
Yes. Everything
So
from latency
if that kind
to...
of puts it into perspective, the problems that you genuinely see out of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, you have to... to use it, you have to be able to see the drone. Or first you have to know the drone's there. And typically, with the size of even commercial drones you're going to hear it before you see it. Like, you'd have to be combing the sky constantly, like 360, whatever, looking around if you wanted to even have a chance to see it. But typically, you're going to hear it first, and then you're going to try and, like, triangulate where it is and spot it. But, like, with the drone gun, like Sean said, it's a radio. It uses radio frequencies, and the further or the closer the drone is, that the tighter the jamming is. So, the further away it gets, it does in a sense get easier. Like, you can just aim, like this big instead of literally having to be perfectly on the drone. But it's just, you kind of have to know it's there to begin with. And if the drone's doing 40 miles an hour past you, you're not going to be able to really track it fast enough. And you have to have a clear line of sight the whole time anyway. Like, you have to have a perfectly, like, if it flies halfway behind a tree limb, like, you just lost it. So, pros and cons to both. We never successfully shot down a drone with it. We did freeze one in midair for a bit. I don't remember necessarily how that ended, but we did not even recover it, or it didn't even go down. So, from personal experience, just shooting it down was actually easier. So yeah, all that to say, kind of going back on topic here, the drones were everywhere near the Belarus border, and I'm not one to say, oh yeah, it was or it wasn't a drone, whatever. But one night we I got woken up, or not woken up. There was gunfire. I got woken up to gunfire, and it was like, pop, 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 pop. It sounded like an entire gunfight going on. Grenades were going off. It was crazy. And I woke up pretty instantly, I would say, once it started, as well as the rest of us instructors. And it sounded like, 150 yards away. Like, it was close. And we're talking amongst ourselves in the room. We're like, yo, you hear that? Well, yeah, duh. Like, yeah, what's going on? I don't know, but it sounds, pretty big. And, oh, we lost Ian. Rip. And we're just kind of talking about it, and we're like, well, what do we want to do? And we're like, well, we can't do anything. We don't have any weapons. And we're like, okay, well, I'm just going to lay right here, and we'll see what happens. And it was probably within, like, a minute of us saying that, we hear a drone, like, actually hear a drone over us. And this drone comes and sits, like, outside our window to the room. And we did not have the window covered at the time. And, like, you can hear the drone right outside our window. And so we're like, yo, that's a drone right outside our window. We're about to get smashed with arty or something. Like, we don't know what's going on. And there's still a gunfight literally down the street. So I'm, like, wedged up against the wall. Because my, if we go back to the pictures, my bed is literally against the window. This was the window it was sitting outside of. So I, like, was smashed up against this wall right here. And I was like, well, if we die, we die. Like, I don't even have a weapon to do anything, like, we'll just wait till we hear someone come in the house or, whatever. And, one of the Ukrainians comes into the house and he's like, guys, And we're like, what's going on? He's like, don't worry, house is on fire. And we're like, what do you mean the house is on? Did it get like hit? Like, did someone catch on fire? He's like, no. He's like, the house the ammunition was stored in, it's on fire. And he's like, but don't worry, everything's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. He's like, go back to sleep. And we're like, what about the drone? We're like, there's a drone outside the window. Do you not hear? And he's like, oh. He's like, that's our friend. He's videoing the fire. And so, like, we're over here, like, sitting here, thinking we might die or we're getting, like, hit. And the literal, like, armory house is just burning to the ground. And one of the Ukrainians is sitting there with his drone outside our window videoing the fire. And that kind of sums it up with the fire. It's like, that sums up so much of Ukraine. They're like, situation normal. It's fine. It's no problem. Because the next day, it was literally the next day.
Fine.
Yeah, everything's fine. Literally the next day, it's like super smoky. Like, I mean, you can breathe fine. But, like, visibility's down to, like, 50 yards, 50 meters, maybe. And we're, like, kind of talking about it for, like, all morning. And, we were, like, I don't want to say his name, but our translator, we were like, why is it smoky? And he's like, oh. He's like, I meant to tell you. He's like, Chernobyl on fire. He's like, it's radioactive smoke. He's like, but you have nothing to worry about. We're monitoring it. And we're like, what do you mean? He was
That's
like
crazy, because that's what they said initially when Chernobyl first blew up.
And one of the guys said that.
It's fine, you have nothing to worry about.
He was like, it's fine. He's like, we're monitoring it. He's like, it's no problem. And then he literally follows up. He's like, just try not to breathe it. We're like, what do you mean? We're like, yeah, I can't see, like, my hands in front of me. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but, like, I can't see in front of me, and you're telling me not to breathe it. He's like, well, maybe just stay inside today. He's like, but it's fine. It's no problem. No, it's totally fine.
This would be a great time to plug this episode's sponsor, Mira Safety.
Yeah, they make great gas masks.
I'm just kidding. They have no clue who we are.
They don't.
Probably keep it that way.
Probably. And so now we're not like panicking, but we're very concerned because like I'm pretty sure anything nuclear related in Eastern Europe is probably bad. Because Chernobyl could be, like actually leaking radiation. They're like, no, it's fine. Like you said the first time. So we start going online.
That's what they said in '86.
Like, and we have no internet, mind you. There's like the Starlink, so and internet, so many people are on it. So we're like trying to load.
I do remember when this happened. I think
Starlink went out. Hey, Ian!
Ian, welcome back.
Is he back?
Sean was mid-sentence and just died, dude.
He tweaked out. Yeah. His Starlink died on him as we were talking about it.
But yeah, we were like on the Starlink, and it takes like 5 minutes to load a web page where we were. And so this whole time we're trying to find like the public information stuff for the Geiger counters that are like online viewable for Chernobyl. And so we spend like hours looking, and then we found one that like would update every like 12 hours or something. And we realized that the like radioactivity really wasn't that bad. Like it was like, no more than being at like high elevation. Like it wasn't bad. We're like, oh, okay, whatever. But yeah, it was hilarious. Just her translator just being, oh, I meant to tell you, don't breathe the smoke, but everything's fine. Chernobyl's on fire. I mean, and that just sums up everything in Ukraine. Well, Sean's still not back.
It's fine.
The commander sucked. This was the commander that was at that village. He was over all the units there. Dude didn't care about us, our time there, his soldiers. Like, didn't care about anything. He was there because he either had to be or for his own benefit. He was awful. Soldiers would come to us complaining like we could do something. Talking about how, He just doesn't care about them. That he would send them to their death if he could, and just, all this stuff. There's some horrible commanders over there. Many commanders have been arrested for, fraud or for being corrupt or whatever. This one's no different, except he wasn't arrested. But we would try to train different, like, platoons. Like, we'd train, like, our original platoon one day, and then one of the other platoons, and, this and that. And we're trying to, like, teach them all evenly, and, we'd say, all right, we'll see you tomorrow. And then they wouldn't show up. And we're like, yo, what's going on? The commander's like, oh, no, they don't have training today. They're off doing this. We're like, well, we showed up and just waited for, oh, welcome back, Sean.
Sorry about that. I was using a shitty charger and my phone overheated.
Nice.
Need a new phone.
Yeah, you should do that. But, like, there was no set training schedule. The commander was just awful. He hated his troops. And we're like, we need a set schedule. We need to, like, try to figure this out. And it was constantly just, like, him telling us, and then there would even be some days he would come out to training and he's like, I want you to train them this today. And we're like, well, we've already done that, or we, whatever. And he's like, no, you need to do it this way. And we're like, all right, so, while we appreciate it, don't you have other things to be doing than trying to micromanage our training? You asked us, as it turned out, he had asked for us to come once, and that's how we were allowed to come. But, we came there and then he'd try to micromanage stuff, or, tell us, oh, you're not training today, or, oh, you are training today, or, you're training this unit, or we're taking you over here, whatever. And there were some other instances of him doing just some sketchy stuff. And, finally at one point, we were like, dude, this, like, oh, a kitty! Oh!
Aww.
That's adorable. Finally, at one point, we're like, all right.
Sorry, not to really.
We're putting our foot down. Things have to change. Like, we need to, we want to set training. We need to know who we're training, what days. Your soldiers are confused. We're confused. You're really just taking advantage of us and just having us around. Things like that. And, he was like, no. He's like, it'll be fixed. It's no problem, just, he's like, you're here, whatever. And we're like, no. If things aren't fixed, and we gave him like a 2-day thing. We're like, hey man, if things aren't fixed by Tuesday or whatever, we're leaving. And this dude had the audacity to say something along the lines of, he's like, the soldiers guarding the gates, like, and the roads in and out here, they're my soldiers. He's like, you'll leave when I tell you can leave. And we all, like, looked at each other, and, like, looked at him, and we were like, we've trained those soldiers. Those are our friends. Are you really gonna try to pull the, like, tell the foreigners that we can't leave when we're here volunteering? Like, we're training your troops, our friends, when they're always complaining, showing examples, videos of you, doing stupid stuff, not caring about them, whatever, and you're gonna have the audacity to threaten us if we leave? And we're like, do it. You can be the commander to shoot the Westerners when they're trying to go back home. We're like, we dare you. And he's like, no, I didn't mean it. It was essentially like, I didn't mean it like that. That's not what I was trying to say. And we're like, we're just gonna end up leaving. And literally like 2 days later, we left. So, yeah, dude had the audacity basically to tell us he's gonna shoot us if we left, which was hilarious. We ended up literally finding a ride pretty quickly and hitching it out of there. Before we did, though, we met an individual. I don't even know. I definitely should not say his name. I'm not even gonna say his like call sign per se, but we met a guy out there. He'd been in Ukraine for literally years. He has a Ukrainian fiance, wife, something, that they've been together for many years. He's an American from the East Coast. He was a French Foreign Legion for a few years. Hardcore dude. And and then I guess probably 3, 4, 5 years ago decided he wanted to go to Ukraine to help. And it's been his home ever since. And he traveled at this time all over the country training Ukrainians. And he ended up in our same village, and he helped us kind of get out of the village and that unit because of the commander, being an absolute dickhead. But super cool guy. He had seen plenty of combat experience and had some cool stories for us. He told us this one story that he was training a unit earlier in the war, so this would have been like in March or so. And his deal with the commander was basically, hey, and it was his team. It was like, they go hard. They were combat hardened, and he was like, so we'll train your guys as long as we actually get to kind of like go fight in our free time, essentially. And he's like, it'll just be my team. He's like, we're gonna run ops kind of, you're more than happy to give us some objectives or what's going on. We'd love some intel. He's like, but we'll go fight in exchange, for training your guys. And the commander's like, okay. And so they asked the commander, and the commander's like, so what do you need to kill Russians, essentially? And this individual and his team like made up a list, and the commander was like, oh, okay, this won't be a problem. And then took them to like this commander had been basically hoarding his personal like stash of NATO donated weapons. And it was like, here's everything you asked for, and it was like a warehouse full of stuff. Like Mark 19s like still in the box, and javelins, and in-law, just all this donated stuff. And he's like, take whatever you need. He was like, train my soldiers well, and then go fight in your free time or on the weekends or whatever. And it was pretty cool him explaining this, because that's literally what they would do. They'd like be there for the week, and then like during the weekends they would just disappear for 2 or 3 days, go kill Russians, come back to the base, and then train the soldiers and do it all over again the next week. But yeah, super cool guy. He's still there. That's essentially his home now. He comes back to the States every now and then to visit, but Ukraine's his home. He's awesome. Does good work. I think he's actually on the 0 point line right now fighting with his team. So yeah, cool dude. We also have some stories with our great friend Mike Dunn. Mike Dunn kind of weaseled his way in to follow us around up there. We have some pictures of him.
How close did he get to anything actually happening, though?
Oh, then nothing. So funny, yeah. I actually have this in the doc. So this command was actually pretty structured, despite the commander being a complete just dick and not caring about his troop. Like I said, the troops were very under the impression that he would just send them to die, because he didn't care about them. But with that said, his unit was actually pretty structured in the sense of he had like a command staff and stuff. And one of the commander's staff, Mike Dunn, was like, can I carry your weapon around while I'm here in exchange for training your guys? And so Mike Dunn would walk around with an RPK with 3 45-round mags, like this tall on his chest, that take up his entire plate carrier, and like walk around with his RPK, and he's like, I'll defend this place with my RPK if I have to. And it was very cringe-worthy.
The toy soldier.
Yeah. Like, just carrying around someone else's weapon while the commander, or, the staff guy, who was amazing,
he was
weaponless, and was just like, yeah, he was literally like the staff guy's like gun bearer. It was great.
Hand me my RPK. We go fight now. What?
There's also there's also an instance where so Ukrainians have this like sauna. It's called a banya. And essentially it's you like jump in this like cooled water or cold pool. A pool. It's like a glorified large bathtub. And then you go into like this like cedar planked room or whatever they have a fire in there with like special, like that you only burn like certain types of branches or whatever. Anyway, you sitting there, you sweat off just toxins, and it feels pretty great as far as like how you feel afterwards. And they invited us. They were like, "Thank you for training us. We'd like to invite you to like our banya." And we're like, "Yeah, sure." So we get there, and they're like, "No clothes in the banya." It's like it's tradition. No one, like, the men don't wear clothes. It was kind of weird. Whatever. They're like, you don't wear clothes here. It's just, it's part of the experience. And we're like, oh, okay, whatever. So we're like stripping down and we're just chilling out. And Mike Dunn's like, I can't do it. It's my religion. I'm not allowed to let anyone see me naked other than maybe my like future wife. And we're like, oh, okay. And this dude goes on and on and on about how his religion won't allow him to be naked or something like this. And I think it was Elon was like, Mike, are you even a Christian? Like, what are your beliefs? He's like, no. He's like, just this is for the Ukrainian. Just tell them I can't do it. It's part of my religion. It was hilarious. And so for the rest of the time, a couple of guys were like, oh, Mike Dunn's got a small dick and doesn't want anyone to see it. Or maybe he's wearing a wire for the feds and he can't take his boxers off or something. It was gold. I messed with him for a while about it. Let's see. Yeah, that's really about all I got. Might have some more pictures in here real quick. I found a baby, this baby goat loved me. I forgot about this.
Aw.
There you go. There's Leeds and Elon with Tokarevs. Yeah, just random picture. Oh, we had a fire one night, and
Are those hot dogs?
Yeah, it's like Ukrainian hot dogs.
Oh, they look fire.
I'd been saving some of this stuff for a while because like I'd like eat less for a couple meals, so I would like be able to save enough for breakfast. I'd like take an egg or two every day, and then I found a can of corn, and I literally ended up making like an entire breakfast for dinner on the fire. I was very proud of it. It was like the best meal I'd had in weeks. And then I had some bread with it. It was great. And honestly, that's about it. So at that point, we, after being threatened by the commander, we, packed our bags up and, basically got out of there. We, the unit that we were, our friends that were a part of that unit, like the platoon, was like, just, it's terrible here. They're treating you wrong. You should just go. And we were like, okay.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, like it was awful. Like the commander was constantly yelling at us, like the instructors, like telling us, we're awful people, we're doing it wrong, we're this and that, and then yelling at the soldiers, and just it was just super toxic. And finally, the day we left, we were telling some of our friends about it, and he's like, "You have training today," and we're like, "Nope, we told you we were leaving on whatever day, Tuesday. If you didn't fix," he's like, no, please. He's like, "Don't go." He's like, "I will fix." He was like, "It's no problem. I will give schedule." And we're like, "Dude, I'm sorry. We've been here, 3 weeks. You continually, mess things up. You tell your soldiers, none of your soldiers, you don't care about anyone. You're either here because you have to be, or like I said, for your own benefit. Like you have something to gain out of this." And he was like, no. And we're like, "No, we're bye. We're gone. We're bye. We're gone. No, we're bye."
Aw, Sean's not here.
So yeah, that's that. We went back to Kyiv. We stayed the friend that we'd met there who was training one of the squads. It was like a special forces squad that he was kind of training. They were essentially like they were like tank hunters. It was like literally a squad that was attached to that whole unit that was the anti-tank squad. And their job was to do their own recon, do their own, like they were trained to like go out for a couple days at a time and like hunt tanks and come back and do it all over again. But that individual was training
That's
them.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. They were not trained very well, and that's why this American was like, that's what he was doing. He was trying to train him better. He was there. It's kind of a small world, to be honest. As Ukraine, and honestly, you'll find a lot of things are. He came to that village because he was training a unit in Kyiv that was deploying to Bakhmut, and it was that that squad leader, it was his girlfriend that he was training in the other unit, and they like recommend, it was like, oh, there's an American here, and then so he came to the village and taught her boyfriend, which is how we met him, and yada yada yada. Him and I still keep in touch. He's an awesome dude. So we went back and then helped train another unit in Kyiv, hung out for a little bit. Are there any pictures I can share? Oh yeah, here's a blurred picture of us. Here's you'll never guess which one's Mike Dunn. The largest one there. And constantly every photo we get in, can I hold someone's weapon? Like, you'll never see a photo of Mike Dunn in Ukraine without a weapon. And what's hilarious is you'll always, like, in every photo you see of him with Ukrainians that I've personally seen, there's always a Ukrainian that doesn't have a gun when Mike Dunn has a gun.
Because he has one.
Yeah, he's asking to hold a gun, one of the Ukrainians' guns. Like, and we can see, like here's Elon, he has a gun. So, like, occasionally the Ukrainians would be like, here, take gun for photo. But, I don't have a gun, where's... I'm looking for any of the other instructors. But needless to say, every picture, can I hold someone's gun, please? I want to look good for the camera. So, yep. Once again, his chain's like hanging out his shirt, and he's always got his dog tags outside of his shirt. It was just, it got like comical. Consistently just comical. Let's see, do we have anything else? That's really all I got.
No, kidding.
Here's us at the village. We got Leeds, one of the guys. I actually still need to talk to him, see if it's okay. I don't see Elon here, but yeah, some of the guys. This is the other American that we met there. He's awesome. Yeah, that's about it. We went back to Kyiv, trained a couple units. We were teaching them reaction drills in a little mini school soccer field. Yeah, we that was a pretty cool sit. They were like, you can stay with us as long as you want. We'll feed you. We'll give you a room to stay in if you could just, train us 2-3 days a week. And I think we did that for about a week and a half. Maybe it was about a week. And that's when we got the opportunity to go down to Dnipro and be attached to a medical medevac, Medi-Kazovac team that we actually started receiving training on. We can debate on how good or bad that was later next week, but yeah. So that's all I got from the Belarus border. It was kind of just, it was always consistently crazy, like the smoke could be effing radioactive, or the house next door to ours is on fire with grenades and bullets everywhere, and consistently the Ukrainians are like, it's no problem, don't worry, everything's fine. And consistently, we're like, dude, how is radioactive smoke fine? He's like, just try not to breathe it, but it's no problem. We're like, okay. All that to say, I don't know if I finished that story, we did end up finding some Geiger counter, like public information Geiger counters, and the smoke was in fact mostly fine. So
Mostly.
yeah, it was higher than like a normal amount, like here in Charleston or whatever. But we started like comparing it to other cities in the world, and it was just like a very polluted, whatever. Like it wasn't like, I guess maybe for over the time span of 50 years, it would be, we might start growing a fifth arm or whatever, but nah. Yeah, I don't see anything else in my notes. Do we have any current events? Oh yeah, the F-35 crashed in Charleston today, or Beaufort, wherever it crashed. What else? We said something before the show.
South Africa.
No.
Their security pack.
Security. Oh yeah, that's not what I was thinking of, but yeah, France is. I read something. I don't have any. Literally, I have no current events in my notes. But don't we? Weren't they deploying like French Foreign Legion to Niger or talks of it or something?
Well, they were deploying French Foreign Legion to EWAS. I think it was EWAS pack states. They were like outside of Niger, and prompt to that, the security pack between, I think it was like Niger, one that starts with an M, whose name I want to say
Mali.
is Mali, but I know it's not. There we go. And then it was two other states.
Burkina Faso.
Thank you. You looked it up. Or did you just remember it?
No,
Yeah.
that's just the same ones that were talking beforehand.
Oh, okay. Oh God,
So,
dude,
yeah,
I'm not doing
still
great
a-
in this
still a hot
device
topic.
manager shit.
Prigozhin, I guess, really is dead. Still
Well, I
yet
mean-
to be officially determined, but it appears he actually is dead.
Well, there's still time for Prigozhin to show up in the Undertaker coffin. He might, pop out of there.
What else did we talk about before the show or pre-show that will never be public? The
You say
dude
that.
that got arrested for posing as the Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s security detail. Hold on, let me see if I can.
Big oof.
There has to be a picture somewhere. Oh, I found it. This is what the dude was.
Oh, come on now, bro.
To join one.
What was he thinking? Bro,
That is a hell of a LARP.
he looks like the homie's Tio. What is he doing?
So like,
Department badges on him. Like,
yeah, he had U.S. Marshal badges. I don't know what the photo ID badge is.
Oh my God.
He's wearing let me see if there's maybe in a better picture. He's wearing like tan combat boots. Like it's almost like here you go. Yeah, here's
he
the
got
full
the
picture.
butters on too.
Yeah. So, from my understanding,
Oh,
what makes it
man.
even funnier is he like shows up and then he kind of attracted attention. Obviously, because I don't know. I don't
Just look
think.
at him.
Yeah, like just look. And I don't know since when any department, including the marshals, have used shoulder holsters other than their. I don't even know. But
Magnum PI. Yeah.
But apparently, when questioned, he was like, "Ah, yes, I'm part of Robert Kennedy Jr. whatever his dumb name is." He was like, "I'm a part of his security detail." So he picked like the worst possible cover story because like out of all the departments there, like I'm sure there was like state police, I'm sure there were actual like marshals and maybe a secret. So I don't know necessarily what all the departments are there, but he picks like probably the most tightly knit department or security or the detail on the entire. He's like, "Oh
And
yes,
smallest.
I'm part of their 5-person security detail. My name's Jeff," or whatever. It's like, dude, that's what you thought of? Like, you went to all this trouble You bought badges. You brought a gun, and that was your cover story.
Yeah, it's called tradecraft, Jamie.
Listen, kids. Just because you max all your points into charisma doesn't mean you have to walk around without any points in intelligence.
Yep.
It's not how it works.
Anything else?
Epically failed the speech roll on that one.
Yeah, majorly.
Went to all that trouble and just dropped the ball. I can't think of anything else that happened this week. I wasn't too in the loop.
It was a pretty calm news cycle week, to be honest with you.
How's Maui doing?
Same shit, different day.
Feds still don't care about it?
No,
No relief or nothing?
no.
Still the
Damn,
$70, $700 per household or whatever garbage.
Yeah, that's still it.
Rip.
You know what that reminds me of?
Good.
When Donald Trump went to one of our territories. I think it was the
Puerto
Philippines.
Rico.
And he started Puerto Rico, and he passed out toilet tissue. At least he did a little.
No, he
he
was Jay stroking toilet or paper towel rolls at people like he was shooting
Yeah.
3-pointers, dude. It was wild.
I know you don't have a house, but here's some paper towels.
You get a roll.
You get a rule. Speaking of the whole Trump Biden all that garbage, or Hunter Biden's indicted on gun charges.
I'm sorry, did you just say indicted?
Or indicted. Indicted.
Come on, we've been sending him through diversity training. He just picked up a little bit.
Anyway, yeah, and
I was gonna say we can't not talk about that. He's actually getting charged with three counts for lying on a 4473.
And the funniest thing I've seen so far are the Republicans being like, yeah, they're finally stepping up and, doing this or that. And then the amount of people that's like, wait, so you're for government involvement on purchasing a gun? And they're like, well, if it's Hunter Biden, yes. And you're like, yes. So, yeah, I just find it very ironic. They're like rooting for the government getting Hunter Biden in trouble over guns.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where it's like, one day I'll own this boot. It's like, or,
yeah.
Tread on everyone but me, daddy. So it's like classic. They're like, he shouldn't be able to have drugs, and he's a drug addict, so he can't own guns. It's like, since
they say as they turn around and eat a half dozen Oxycontin.
Yeah, so I just find all that very ironic. I mean, this goes back to the whole, I think we talked about this, was it last? I say last week, it was really, I guess 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever. Now,
last episode.
But it's like, last episode. It's like, cool, arrest Trump. Like, do it. And then Biden. And we'll just go down, like, arrest all of them, and the next one. But, I mean, don't get me wrong, Hunter Biden deserves, being...
How far down that list is, David Chipman?
Like 4? I mean, he does have a picture of him smiling with burning corpses.
David Chipman, Lon Horiuchi. Who else? Who else are we getting?
All of them. All of them. They're all corrupt tyrants. So, I mean, arrest all of Hunter Biden should be 100% held accountable, just like, quote-unquote, we the people. Just, gun charges, probably the most ironic thing yet. Like, out of all the things I could have picked, and out of all the things, the right-wing conservatives are like, yeah, we got him! It's like, yes. And then, like, if this happened to Trump, they'd be like, but Trump's gun rights! He should be able, it's literally just one day I'll own this boot. Like, it's a constant power struggle of, like, the laws are, we're gonna try to, like, suppress one political side, and so we're gonna make all these laws because we're the ones in office now to get them, and then, oh no, they're in office now, they're using the laws against us! Yeah. So, yep. Rip Hunter Biden. I'm sure Daddy will pardon him, and the political.
I was about to
correctness will
say,
continue.
you know nothing is gonna come of that.
We'll see. What,
I
it
would
was
be
like the same
surprised
thing
if
about
he
him
even
paying
sees the inside of a
taxes.
courtroom, let alone a jail cell.
Like the whole tax situation. It's like he got. I don't even know what happened with all that, but basically he got like a plea deal or whatever for not paying taxes. It's like, I mean, yeah, I hope Hunter Biden's arrested, but paying taxes is once again taxation's theft. So, like, why don't we get him for actually one of the corrupt, horrible things he's done, and not just, not paying taxes and gun ownership, because the government has no business being involved in either of those. Hot take. All right, what other? We got anything
Don't
else?
you get it, man? He's the bad guy, and we finally got him. Never mind
yeah.
how.
We stuck it
I
to
finally
him.
got him.
Oh, actually, here's a funny one. Not 9/11 was this week, last weekend, whatever.
Oh,
Monday.
are you talking about the memes?
Yeah, and well, I mean, yes, but no. But
Fuck
then,
about 9/11.
what was the?
They didn't give a single fuck, bro. The amount of memes, I'm like, holy shit, bro. Not one fucking fuck given. They were just going at it.
Okay, anyway, the press secretary or whatever that dumb White House lady is was like, this is the equivalent of like January 6th. Did y'all see that?
Wait, what? No.
Hold on.
Come on, dog. Come on, man. What?
Well, let me see if I find it.
Oh, Lord. Times like this, I wish we had Sarah Huckabee back in there. At least we made it a little.
Here you go.
9/11 was nothing compared to January 6th on terms of threat to democracy.
Oh wait, no, wait, no, hold on. This isn't it. This is October 18th. Hold on. This is older. Hold
Yeah,
on.
bro, they
No.
probably trying to suppress that one.
Let's see. Oh, it's Kamala Harris.
She said
Oh
that?
boy.
I thought it
Where
was
the
some.
fuck has Kamala been anyway?
No,
Who?
I'm generally asking, where the fuck has she been, bro? Whenever we see her, she's always doing like some weird dumb shit, like with the fishing people. She's out there waving at them. They're just looking at her like, bitch, pick up a pole.
Okay, so fun fact, I'm very misinformed. Because I guess it was just making the rounds on the, and everyone was treating it like she just said it. But yeah, she said this January 6, 2022. But yes,
So
apparently
on the 1
she
year
did.
anniversary.
Yeah, apparently compares. Yeah, here you go. So yeah, this is not new news. I just am a misinformed idiot.
Pearl Harbor and 9/11. Oh, good lord.
Wow.
Hey, quick question: are the
Hitting all
9/11
the highlights.
Some big statements right there.
So
does the
yeah.
9/11 memes break to us, or is that? Are we free to go ahead and hit those memes? Or are we just gonna draw the line there? Because there's a few that I saw it said that I just like, goddamn, they hit wrong for that one.
Traven,
You said what?
you said you were supposed to be holding me back.
That's why I'm asking. Like, okay, if he's saying no, all right, this is gonna be in the post show. Fuck it, we aren't recording that one.
Oh, the devil drives Lada after dark.
Yeah, dude. You gotta go check out our Patreon and OnlyFans. That's the only place you'll see these jokes.
Fun fact. I still have, from when I went to Ukraine, I needed, obviously money to, buy plane tickets or whatever. I wasn't gonna have a job, so I had to pay my lease, whatever. I still have a, Patreon and an OnlyFans set up for that.
Sick.
Oh, look, the groundwork is already done.
Because people were getting banned off of, like, Patreon and stuff for it being, like, just, I guess, political involvement of Ukraine, whatever, but there were people getting banned for it. And so, yeah, I literally just made an OnlyFans because their terms of service was much more loose.
Imagine that.
Where's Sean at? Sean?
The TOS is really loose.
I don't know. I don't want to dox the situation. But someone definitely has an OnlyFans.
Yeah, I'm sure that's making it real difficult to guess.
Did I miss that in the group chat?
The feds didn't.
Lord.
All right.
If their rules would stop you from like uploading like combat footage.
It was like left up to discretion, which was the problem.
Because I know
With, like,
YouTube, you can't do that.
Correct. Patreon's more loose than YouTube, and from what I was reading when I left, like,
I was talking about OnlyFans.
Yeah, they had. Well, it's just like a lot of stuff has been like, what was it the other day that I found some kind of article or something. So, YouTube is, and even Discord now has gotten really good about, like, taking down, like, live streamed, like, UFC fights or, this or that. And so,
Right.
or even, like, leaked, like, because, like, it doesn't take much to have, like, a DMCA takedown sent to someone on YouTube and the video gets removed. So people have been just uploading to Pornhub. So it'll be,
Nice.
like, leaked footage and, like, all this leaked stuff or, like, pay-per-view streams just uploaded to Pornhub. Because they don't, like, DMCA doesn't really apply to them as much.
Modern problems require modern solutions.
Yep. And remember, the internet always wins. Always. Also, this happened this week. Mozilla did I think this was this week. Mozilla, like, privacy. They have, like, a privacy, I think it'd be considered, like, a red team. Where essentially they investigate companies for their privacy and how, like, user data is used. Tesla is one of the, and it was specifically focused on vehicle manufacturers, and Tesla was the worst and failed every single one of their their investigative criterias. But, like, I think that they did it to, like, 26 car manufacturers, which is not a small number.
It's like most of them.
Yeah. September 6th. There you go. It's official. Cars are the worst product category we have ever reviewed for privacy. And some of them, so here, I'll just hit that. They collect too much personal data, all of them. It was 25 car brands, excuse me. So 84% share or sell your data. 56% of them also say they can share your information with law enforcement in response to a request. 92% give drivers little to no control over their personal data and how it's used. We couldn't confirm whether any of them meet our minimum security standards.
I doubt
and Tesla literally failed the worst out of all of them.
Every single
in
one.
A strike in all 5. After that, let's see, Nissan, Hyundai, Cadillac, GMC, so literally all the GM brands. That's how desperate they are
So
after
they're
they got
all terrible.
So, here's a little conspiracy theory. After they filed for bankruptcy, and the government bailed them out, they just agreed to give the feds all your data.
Yeah.
And then let's see, what are the best?
Surprised.
Dacia. Oh, I actually
Renault,
drove a
Dacia.
Dacia in Poland, and they were actually pretty solid. Yeah.
The Dacia Sandero.
A Dacia. I don't know how you freaking say it. Yeah. What
It's okay.
was funny
the
is
Top Gear fans will get it.
yeah. Fair enough. Oh, here you go. Nissan earned its second to last spot for collecting some of the creepiest categories, including sexual activity, sex life, and genetic information or genetic characteristics.
How the fuck are
Your
they
car's gonna be out
gathering
here.
genetic information? What?
Bro, your
Well-
car's out here to learning whether or not you get bitches or not. That's sad.
And then giving
Yeah,
that
yeah.
information to the feds. Like, there's no wonder
Holy
people are
shit!
like,
How do you think they recruit the people that they want?
yeah. Like,
Oh my god! It all makes sense. Nissan is doing it. No.
Nissan. This guy right here is the best one to get a donated AR-500 plate carrier and a Daniel Defense little rifle. Just send it right to him and point him in the direction.
dude, that's like, people are like, they're like, oh, why am I getting all these hot singles near you ads? Because the feds know you haven't had sex in 2 years.
Oh, hey, is that integrated with like Tinder? Like how they do your Tinder score too?
That's how they're like embedding like the feds into your Tinder profile because they know you're desperate because your Nissan site telling them.
No, Ted's here though. Did you know Tinder has an MMR rating?
I did not.
Or what?
Dude, facts. It has the MMR. It has so like MMR is a match made ranking system. Tinder has it. They literally give you a rating for like like on your facial features and then like on your bio and shit for how unattractive you are. That's why you always end up with like fat chicks or not in your suggestions.
No, that's why
And
you always end up with fat chicks, Draven.
First off, motherfucker, my Tinder
Also,
is banned.
we're not body shaming that.
My Tinder is banned.
Apparently, body shaming is breaching TOS on Tinder. My bad. I didn't know that.
all right, stop talking. Also, look at this. None of the other car brands use language that meets Mozilla's privacy standard about sharing information with the government or law enforcement. But Hyundai goes above and beyond in their privacy policy. It says they will comply with lawful requests, whether formal or informal.
Oh my god.
We'll give you whatever you
So
want.
you can just call them up on the phone and be like, "Hey, I'm a cop. Can you give me all of this person's data?" Like,
So, Hyundai and Liberty Safes confirm owned by same conglomerate.
yeah.
All of the car brands on this list, except for Tesla, Renault, and Dacia, signed onto a list of consumer protection principles from the U.S. Automotive Industry Group Alliance for Automotive, whatever. This list includes great privacy-preserving principles such as data minimization, transparency, and choice. But the number of car brands that follow these principles? Zero.
Zero.
Hey, I just got a fucked up joke. Hyundai.
Oh no.
Hyundai's getting that formal and informal request from USB from the USB ends.
That's the Kia boys, you idiot.
Hyundai and Kia is the same brand. Don't fuck with me. Okay.
But Hyundai's, I don't know if they're stealable. The Kias are very stealable. That's why they
You wanna?
like had a recall and want you to take them in to get their software updated. So you can't steal them with a freaking thumb drive.
You want to go mask up and do a Kia boy run on a Hyundai to see if it's possible?
No, you're live.
Come on.
In GTA.
Minecraft. We're playing Daisy. He gave me the keys. You know what I mean?
All right. Do we have anything else we want to talk about? I have a headache. I haven't drank enough caffeine today, except, well, none.
You about to be up all night.
I'm sipping. I've drank like this much this whole time.
What is that?
I am.
White monster?
Yeah, one of my favorite monsters.
We'll cover that up. They aren't
Monster
paying us.
Spotter.
That's what they used to call me back in college.
Cover that up. They aren't paying us. They don't get free promos.
That's what they used to call me. The white monster. Traven, what do you have to say about that as our diversity manager?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't even hear him say it, so I'm gonna let it pass.
All right, perfect.
And I mean, honestly, if we were really talking about this OnlyFans things, me and him can do a tag team. You know, the black monster and the white monster right next to each other. Boom. We'll call that yin and yang.
Call it the Yin Yang Twins.
Yes.
All right. On that note, that's all I got. What's our
Hell
takeaway
yeah.
for this week? We gotta give the people what they want and an applicable takeaway.
All right. Everybody want to do one, or do we just want?
I forgot to make one. I don't know. Does anyone have one?
I got one.
Oh,
Don't
God.
worry. This one's tame. This one's tame. This one's tame.
Better not be about PSA or Anderson.
First off, you keep trying, man. I'm gonna drop
Or
it.
Bear
Oh,
Creek
speaking about
Arsenal.
that, even though they, not DCA, but even though they aren't paying us, Anderson just dropped the Dissipator.
Yeah,
It
no one
actually looks
cares.
pretty nice.
Yeah, no one cares.
hey,
Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Traven, you've been banned from the takeaway. Your takeaway for this week is like the Ukrainians say. Don't worry. Everything's okay, even if your house is on fire. It's fine. If you're getting shot at, it's fine. Don't panic. Just handle the situation calm and collectively and don't panic. That was horrible. Alright, bye guys. We'll see you next week. And we're gonna talk about training at a abandoned hydroelectric power facility and getting trained on Medi and Cassavac for the front lines. And yeah. Okay, bye guys.